2, or maybe actually I'll read 3 verses from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we will read chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, verses 1, 2, and 3. And the idea behind these verses are that Krishna is basically explaining how his message is received. How his message is received by who is able to receive Krishna's message. What sort of qualifications, what sort of nature of a person is able to receive the message of the Lord nicely as the Lord wants his message to be received. So here we go. Chapter 4, verse 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivaspate Yoga Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Bravit. The personality of Godhead Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. So you see there's a chain here. From Krishna to Vivasvan, to Manu, to Ikshvaku. 4 steps there. Let's go on to verse 2. Evam parapara praptam imam rajashayo vidu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Translation: this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. So first of all, from the Lord to Vivasvan, who's the sun god, and the sun god means also means he's king. He's king of the sun. Yeah. He's king of the sun. And then he passed it on to Manu. And Manu is also a king. He's the forefather of humanity. You know, of course, we call ourselves man. Yeah, we are the humans. It comes from the term Manu. He's the father of humankind. And he's also a king, and then down to Ikshvaku. And Ikshvaku was also a king. And Ikshvaku, of course, I imagine you know. Well, this is all coming from Vivasvan, from Krishna through Vivasvan. Vivasvan is sun god or king of the sun. So this is the dynasty coming from the sun. And Ikshvaku was there. And then who later became a king? Very important, super important. King in the dynasty from the sun. Tell me, devotees. Lord Ram. Lord Ram is in the dynasty from the sun. Therefore, generally speaking, or oftentimes at least, when you see a picture of Lord Ram, like sitting on a throne with Sita and, Lakshman's there, Hanuman's there, and so on, then on top of the throne, oftentimes at least, you see there's a sort of there's a sun, because it's the Sun dynasty, the dynasty coming from the Sun, God. And Krishna, what dynasty did Krishna come in? Devotees and friends and everyone. Krishna came from the moon. Yes, that dynasty, different dynasty. Okay, but the thing is, so the knowledge that Krishna gave to Vivasvan, the sun god or the king of the sun, was handed down through all these different kings. But then, at some point, and it's a bit of a long story, maybe we'll tell you sometime, but Krishna at least says the succession was broken. The succession was broken. That's basically, there's a whole story about that, Puranic story, the curse of Gautama. By the curse of Gautama, all knowledge was turned to ignorance. And so the succession was broken. So, yes, baby, Hare Krishna, you can talk later. You can sit here and you can talk. Okay. Right, so now verse 3, I said we'd read verse 3, because this is now, anyway, let's just read it. Saevayam mayate jya yoga prokta pravatana bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam hyetad uttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you. Because why? This is a very important point. Krishna said, I'm going to speak that same knowledge which was lost. In other words, re-establish the line. Yes, so today told by me to you, because two reasons. You are my devotee, as well as my friend. Bhaktosi Sakha Cheti. Your Bhakta and Sakha. Bhaktosi me Sakha Cheti. Just in terms of Sanskrit, Bhakta, Asi, is the form. Asi means you are. Ami, Asi, Ati, like that. Yeah. Yes, so anyway, I'll read the translation again of that one. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of the science. This is why Krishna chose Arjuna. Yeah, because Arjuna was not some big scholar, like an intellectual, that sort of person. He was Kshatriya. He was warrior, big, powerful man. And he basically was Kshatriya. Shat means to hurt, to cause pain. Shat means to hurt people, cause pain to people. And Triya or triate, the verbal form, means to protect. So Kshatriya means one who protects others from pain, physically protects. So Arjuna, he was not a Brahmin. You know, we have in the Hindu community, and I'm sure you have here, you have people who have the family surname Maharaj, right? We got a few Maharajas here. That means the family background is they're Brahmins, means intellectuals, priestly people, teachers. Oftentimes, nowadays, they're not really so much like that, somehow. But then you have another group who have the family name Singh. Do we have any Singhs here? We have a Singh. Oh, we have a few Singhs. He was not one of the sort of regular, he was a big Brahmin, extremely important, intellectual, priestly person, and incarnation of God. But Krishna chose not to speak Bhagavad Gita to him. He could have. They knew each other very well. And there were many others. There were so many others. Intellectuals, priestly type people, teachers. But Krishna chose to speak the knowledge to Arjuna, who was a warrior. And he was like actively a warrior. He was like a professional soldier. Our gentleman here, Mr. Singh, I don't know, are you a professional soldier? Just part-time, something like that. So he was a warrior, and he was trained from childhood as a warrior. Yeah. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Blessed are those warriors to whom the opportunity to fight comes unsought." Means they're not going around looking for a fight. They're just there, and suddenly, the opportunity to fight just comes to them. So that was Arjuna, but the thing is, Arjuna was such a devotee, such a great devotee, that even though there were many Brahmins, and like real Brahmins, not just because, the family name is such and such, but he was very great devotee, very close relationship with Lord Krishna. Therefore Krishna chose him. I will speak this knowledge, which got lost in the past. It got lost. And now I'm re-establishing it. I'm re-establishing it by speaking it to you. Why you? Because Bhaktosi me Sakha Cheti. Because you're my devotee and my friend. And therefore, what does Krishna say? Therefore, you can understand it. If you weren't my devotee and my friend, even if you had a big brain and you knew so many things and you read so many scriptures and you knew how to do many pujas and prayers and all these Brahminical things, but you're not a devotee, at least like Arjuna's a devotee. then Krishna chose, no, I'm not going to speak this knowledge to that sort of person. I'm going to speak it to Arjuna because he's my devotee. And like in a very deep sense, he's my devotee. And he's my friend. Very intimate, close relationship of love. And therefore, Arjuna is able to understand. See, no, this is a very interesting thing. This is a very interesting thing about our ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which we are all members of or participants in, is that this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, is coming in that line from Arjuna. And there were others also who were also great devotees, but particularly Arjuna, because Krishna chose to speak to Arjuna. And this ISKCON is coming in that line. It's something like, gosh, I forget, well, I could even just have a look and see. But it comes, we are, or Prabhupada was 32nd. Anyway, it's a bit of a long story, really. But, yeah. So we're coming in that line. We're coming in that line from Arjuna. And therefore, you know, when we meet people who are sort of presented to us as being important spiritual people, first thing is we should check what line are they in. Are they in a line or not? And if they are, what sort of line? Because you get different lines. A while ago, I was in Tamil Nadu in South India. I've been there many times. So we were visiting a place. The old name is Tiruchirappalli, or Tiruchi, they call it now. You heard of Tiruchirappalli? There's a sort of a mountain there, or like a small mountain, with cave temples. Cave temples. So we went up and we visited the cave temples. They're cave temples of Lord Shiva in these big caves, you know what I mean? Like the cave is as high, the opening is as high as the roof here, and the cave is as big as this room, at least, and there's a few of them. So in one of those cave temples, you know, like we have on the altar, you know, the photos of our parampara, our disciplic line, Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, Gorky Shaw, Bhakti Vinod, right? You know, these people, Jagannath Das Babaji. They have deities like this size. We have also, if you go to our temple in Phoenix, we have the same, where we have pictures here. They have deities of the 5 persons. So there in that temple, cave temple of Lord Shiva, they had, I know it's like 10 or so of these statues or deities of the previous people in the line, which goes back to Lord Shiva. But, you know, we are not really, I mean, we have great respect for Lord Shiva. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Shambhu, Lord Shiva, Vaishnavanam means he's the greatest Vaishnava, the greatest devotee. But we focus on Krishna. We focus on Krishna. You all know that. And that's why we're generally known as the Hare Krishna movement, the Hare Krishna people. So they have a line, but here in South Africa, you know, there are temples of Lord Shiva. You've probably got, you might have one here in Ladysmith. Do you have a Lord Shiva temple here?
Yeah.
You got one?
Behind this temple,
That's Shiva
Lord
temple.
Shiva and Ganesha temple, but they are putting for Lord Shiva.
Okay. Anyway, you get these temples where Lord Shiva is the main deity, but you ask the people, try it next time you go next door. Ask them, what is your succession, your disciplic succession? And they will have blank looks on their faces because they don't know about these things. They're kind of, you know, it's just a popular thing which Hindus, some worship Lord Shiva. But actually, what is the tradition which goes back to Lord Shiva? They don't know. I can almost guarantee it. Yeah, we don't gamble, but I would say you can bet him. You can bet 100 rands that he doesn't know about those things because, you know, it's Kali Yuga. But here in ISKCON, we're very, very clear that we are coming in a line which ultimately goes back to Krishna himself. And Prabhupada, and then Lord Chaitanya is 22, and Prabhupada is 32. So this is how this knowledge is passed down, and the practices, and even in the line from Lord Shiva, that is actually how they do it. But the problem is, many of them so bad for how people should receive Bhagavad Gita, Krishna consciousness, take up. So ISKCON is very important like that. You know, on one hand, ISKCON is very important like that. It's very authoritative. It's not just a popular temple that people just come because they like Krishna. I mean, the people who come do like Krishna, but they're coming because it's authorized. And because it's authorized, it works. It works. All over the world. All over the world now, at least. They're Hare Krishna temples. All over. And in many places around the world, there are Hare Krishna devotees who are not from India. They're from, like I used to go to Russia a lot. For many years I went to Russia and I learnt Russian language to speak to the Russian people. You know, in Russia there are more Hare Krishna devotees than in South Africa. There's a lot more. And you know what? 99% are just local Russian people. In fact, I was there one day in our temple in Chatsworth. I think many of you have been to our temple in Chatsworth, Radhanath Temple. And one elderly man came, and I was in the temple room. He came walking in, and we got to speaking a little bit. He was nice, he was interested, and I told him, come regularly, get involved, get into it, it's nice. Yeah, it's really nice, you'll be very happy. And he said, yes, well, I don't know, he said. You know, the thing is, he said, I don't know if I'll do that, I might get involved. He said, because the thing is, he said, I am Tamil. And this, our temple in Chatsworth, he said, this is a Hindi temple. And I said to him, guess what I said to him? I said, I live here. Do I look like a Hindi to you? And he had to agree, I had a point. Because it's actually for everyone. It's not just for the intellectuals or the traditional priests. It's not just for those people. It's here, it's for the warriors. Yeah, I mean, Arjuna, you could say, was like a professional, anyway, as a professional warrior, I was going to say as a professional killer. And that's not so nice. But he was actually. That's what he used to do. He used to kill people. Yeah. To protect others. So yeah, this is why it's important to be in ISKCON. Because it's very authoritative. It's not just that someone just decided to build a temple because he likes Krishna, which happens. Down in Durban, we've got a few temples just appeared in the last few years because the person got some money somehow, and he liked whoever it was, his favorite deity, and he thought, yeah, I'll make a temple to Vishnu, or often to Lord Shiva, or maybe to Murugan. We have a few Tamils here, don't we? Oh, you're Tamil, yeah. Tamil. Sakyama. Telugu. That's different. I'm speaking Tamil to you. You understand? Sakyama. Don't understand. Means how I do. The answer is Saukya, means I'm fine. Anyway, yeah, you get these people just build a temple in their backyard because they came into some money and they just liked whoever, Lord Shiva or Muruga or whoever it may be, or Ganesh. So they just built a temple. And there you go. There's a temple of whoever it is. But that's not how the system works. The system works that we have to connect up to a line coming from Krishna himself. And a line which is being maintained properly as Krishna gave it way back thousands of years ago. You know, one time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who was Srila Prabhupada's guru, his picture is on the altar there, just that side to our right of Prabhupada's picture is Bhaktisiddhanta. He was doing a preaching tour in India, and he arrived in some town or city, and he was going to stay overnight and do a program in the evening. And some local devotees told him, you know, there is a Ram Bhakta just outside of town. He has a little ashram. And he is a Ram Bhakta. And he is such a Ram Bhakta. He is just chanting Ram, Ram, just the whole time practically. And he's such a Ram Bhakta. And they wanted Srila Bhaktisiddhanta to meet him. So he went and met the man, this Ram Bhakta. And sure enough, he was chanting Ram, Ram, Ram. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta asked him one question. You know what the question was? He asked him, do you approach Lord Ram through someone, through another person, or do you just approach him direct? And the man said, direct. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta stood up and walked out. And as he's walking out, he told the devotees, he is not genuine. Because he thinks he has direct connection, not through someone. But in Krishna consciousness and in the Vedic tradition, even in the tradition regarding Lord Shiva, they have their parampara. And here, of course, in Krishna consciousness, the parampara, the succession, is such an important part, vital part of the whole thing. And so, like when Lord Chaitanya was asked one time, who are you? He answered, you may know the verse, Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo Das Adas Anudas. Means, Das means servant. Das, Adas, Anudas. Das, 3 times. I'm servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is Gopi Bhartu, the master of the gopis. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo, the lotus feet of Krishna, who is the master of the gopis. But he didn't just say, I'm Krishna, Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo, Das, Adas, Anu, Anudas. Anu, generally, all servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. And even Prabhupada said, the more time you can say Das, Adas, 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 Adas. It looks like you're getting further away from Krishna. You're servant of the 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 servant of Krishna. Looks like you're getting very removed. But Prabhupada said, the more you see yourself like that, the closer you are to Krishna, actually. The stronger your connection to Krishna is. And this is really important. We should really try and grasp this. Because this is one thing, there are a few things, but this is one thing which distinguishes ISKCON from other groups, actually. Yeah, that in ISKCON we have our disciplic succession, parampara, which has been maintained even for thousands of years now, actually, and is continuing to be maintained. So you get the real thing. You know, sometimes when people gossip, people gossip about who did what, and he did this, really, did he do that? And she did that, really? Oh, she did that. Oh, the latest hot gossip. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have it in Ladysmith. But you know what happens? Let me tell you an experience I had. One morning, I was in England. This is way back in the 70s. I was living in our temple, Bhaktivedanta Manor, near London. And early in the morning, I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock, one devotee came and said, "Did you hear about such and such? You know what he did?" And told me the story. And it was one of those like, "Really? He did that?" "No." "Yes, he did it." It's like hot gossip. Phew, wow. Later in the day, in the evening, someone came and told me, "Did you hear about same person?" And he told me a story which it resembled the story I had been told at 6 o'clock in the morning. You could tell it was related, but it was not the same story. It got changed. And that was just in one day. The story got changed in one day to make it more, exciting and juicy gossip. That's my personal experience. And I understood, hey, this is the same story, but now it's different. So the thing is, here in Krishna consciousness, here we have Bhagavad Gita, and it's the same story that Krishna told Vivasva. It's the same story, but it's actually the same. It's actually the same. It's not been changed. Sometimes you find, I'll finish in a couple of minutes, okay?
Well, you have time. Well, carry
Yeah. Sometimes, even Prabhupada, in his Srimad Bhagavatam, occasionally, Srila Prabhupada says, he's talking or explaining about a particular verse, and he says, in some readings of this verse, there is a difference of one word. Because sometimes you get that. There's somehow or other, one word got changed. And it's rare, but you occasionally find it. But Prabhupada, whenever it happens, he points it out. That there are other versions of this verse. And in another version it uses one different word. If you study Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll come across it here and there. So, and that's because, maintaining the authenticity of it is really the first thing. Not just that it sounds nice. I will close by telling you a little story which is based on this very point. In our line, there was one great devotee before Lord Chaitanya, like approximately 1,000 years ago, maybe 1,200, but something like that. His name was Jayadev. He wrote, the song we sing at the end of artis, Tavakara Kamalavare, Nakam Adbhuta Shringam. You know that song? We sing it regularly. He wrote it, Jayadev. Yeah, glorifying Lord Nrsimhadev. So that same Jayadev, he was doing, wait a minute, no. That's a different story. There was this one devotee named Arjuna Acharya. This is something else. Don't worry about Jayadev for the time being. So Arjuna Acharya, he loved Bhagavad Gita. He loved it. But there was one verse which he thought, it cannot be like that. it did not make sense to him. And that was chapter 9, verse 22. What would happen if I asked you to tell me what is Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, verse 22? Would any of you be able to answer me? I suspect maybe not. Not so many at least. You know, we should learn these things, actually. We should learn some verses. But Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, verse 22, very famous verse. Ananyas chintayantama ye jana pariupasate tesham nityapayuktana yogakshemam vaham yaham, means those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. You get the idea? Krishna looks after his devotees, in other words. Yeah. Yes, right. So in this verse, there's the word vahami. Vahami means I carry. So the verse has been properly translated, I carry to them what they lack. Vahami, I carry it to them. So they're devotees, but there's something they need, but they don't have it. So Krishna carries it to them and gives it. Here, take it. And now you're a devotee, now you've got that thing you need by Krishna's mercy. So this Arjunacharya, he thought it cannot be right that Krishna carries, because Vahami specifically means I carry and deliver, like that. He said Krishna is so great and Krishna is so vast. How can he go around carrying things and delivering them like a delivery boy? You know, one of these courier company drivers who drives around dropping things off. No, Krishna's too big for that. But of course, Krishna looks after his devotees. So he thought that Krishna, what it must be, is that Krishna causes it. Krishna causes it that the devotees get what they need. So, as it happens, the word for cause or I cause is karomi. Karomi. I cause. So what he did, you know what he did? In those days they didn't have computers where you can just backspace and remove a word and type in another word. They didn't even have rubbers, like when I was at school. You could rub the word out and write it in with a pencil, or, Tipex, we used to call it Tipex. White stuff, you put it over the word and then write over that. You get the idea? In those days they didn't have these things. What he did, he wanted to take out the word vahami and write in the word karomi. So what he did, what he had to do, he took a blade, because this was written on tree bark, which is, it's kind of thick, and he literally cut out the word and wrote in the place, karomi. And he thought, good work, I've done something good. Yeah. What is it now? Yogic Shenam Karomyaham. It rhymes. So he thought, I've done a good thing. So he went off. He was a very poor man. He went off to beg food for lunch. While he was away, his wife was at home, waiting for him to get home. There was a knock on the door, and these two boys were there. One was a very dark-skinned boy, and I mean like black, actually. And the other was a very white-skinned boy, like white, like you see our doties here. That's white. I am not white, am I? Not exactly. So anyway, there are these two boys, this black-skinned boy and this white-skinned boy, and they were carrying all this food, like ingredients, vegetables, rice, dal, wheat, flour, and all these things. And the dark-skinned boy said, take a guess who they may be. All right. If you can't get it, it's a problem. Look at the altar room, Jim. So the dark-skinned boy, he said, you know what? We met your husband in the market. He was begging food. And we told him, no problem. Look, we've got all this food here, ingredients. We'll take it to your home and deliver it to your home. And then, you know what happened? The dark boy said, you know what happened? The dark boy said, you know what happened? I don't know why, but he got angry with me. And he hit me. And the dark boy turned his back to show the wife of that Arjunacharya. See, look, he cut my back. He cut my back. And she saw these wounds on the boy's back. And the boy said, Lord, it was your husband did that. Your husband did that. And the wife said, no, he'd never do that. But we are not going to stay here. We don't know what your husband's going to do when he comes back. So we're going. And they went. So she started cooking. And in the meantime, her husband, Arjunacharya, returned, pretty much empty-handed. He had not been successful begging. And he saw, now here's his wife cooking up a big feast. And he asked her, where did you get all this? And she said, you know, it was that dark-skinned boy and the white-skinned boy. You know. And he said, what dark-skinned boy? What white-skinned boy? You know, they said they deliver everything here, but you hit the dark-skinned boy on his back and cut his back. And Arjunacharya is bewildered. I didn't meet any dark-skinned boy or any white-skinned boy, and I would never hit someone like that. So then his eyes fell on that page of Srimad Bhagavatam, which he had cut out the word Vahami that I carry, and wrote his mental speculation, Karomi, that I cause it to happen. And he understood Bhagavad Gita is Krishna. It's not just a book, some ink on pages. It is actually a form of Krishna. And I cut this word of Krishna's out and put my speculation in. Means I cut the body of Krishna. And therefore this has happened now. This boy came with this wound on his back. And I did it by cutting out his word, because I cut his body. And he became overwhelmed that I'm such a nonsense, it's terrible. I cut the body of the Lord, but my wife is such a good devotee. Still Krishna came and brought everything. Just see, just to show me that he actually carries. And then, you know what he did, ladies? Listen to this. He bowed down to his wife on the ground and offered his humble obeisances to his wife, acknowledging how she's such a great devotee. And then he went out, and he was just so amazed. He was running around town, shouting out, "Vahami! Vahami! Vahami!" And people wondered, what happened to him? That's not a bad story, is it? Prabhupada told that story. In a lecture, Prabhupada told that story. It's kind of a famous story. Yes, so right. We have our Bhagavad Gita, and as you all know, it's Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's not Bhagavad Gita as, for example, as Prabhupada wanted it to be. It's not Bhagavad Gita as Prabhupada thought it would be nice if it was like that. But it's actually Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not like Bhagavad Gita as my grandmother told me, or Bhagavad Gita as some politician said he thought it would be nice if it was like that. It's actually Bhagavad Gita as it is, verbatim, the words of Krishna. So this is ISKCON. You know, ISKCON is pretty amazing actually. Yeah, coming in this line, directly in the line from Krishna. So everything is authentic, no nonsense, nothing made up, nothing just because I like it, so I think, it should be in the book. But it's Bhagavad Gita as it is. Coming in that line, yeah. And this distinguishes ISKCON, even from Christian organizations, because the Bible has been changed so much. The Bible, I went to a Christian school, Anglican school, and we had Bible classes every day for 12 years. I was there. And, there is the fifth commandment. I don't know if any of you are from Christian backgrounds. You know what the fifth commandment is? The 10 commandments, you've probably heard of them. The fifth one, thou shalt not kill. It's the fifth commandment. Then not long ago, maybe 10 years ago, at our Rath Yatra in Durban, I was at the book table, distributing books to the people. And a little group of Christian young people came by. And I brought up this point, listen, thou shalt not kill. And they said, no, it doesn't say that. And they had a little pocket Bible, and they opened it and said, look, see, it says, thou shalt not murder. But actually, it says, thou shalt not kill. But they changed it, because thou shalt not kill means just kill anything at all. But thou shalt not murder is more specifically for humans. But that's not what it says anyway. So they have problems of their own. Boy, do they ever. How their literature has been changed. Whew. So there you go, devotees. You're fortunate to be in Prabhupada's ISKCON, and I'm fortunate to be here with you. All you nice devotees from ISKCON Ladysmith. Hare Krishna. Okay, so that's it. That's it. I think we have to go.
Thank you, Maharaj. Really, really appreciate that. Very, very inspiring. and truthful talk. I'm sure that each and every one of us should take this thing very, very seriously.